Hey, Dan here, and I want to share with you some organizational and effectiveness advice specific for ENFPs and INFPs. It's something I've been doing for many years, and it has been treating me really well. A question I'm asked a lot is, what is the perfect routine for an INFP or ENFP? And that's a tough question because, as I've mentioned in other videos, I don't think there is a perfect routine. But something I do that served me really well is I think of my life as basically being in seasons. And sometimes I do this on a yearly basis, and sometimes I do it by month or by quarter. But basically, I think about what I want to do and what's important to me right now. And then I create my plan around that and how I set up my days and how I do everything, right? So for instance, when COVID started, I took a look at what I was doing. And actually at the start of COVID, the plan was to be on a world trip. Myself and Gabby, we left the Czech Republic in early January of 2020. And we were going to be traveling around the world. We were going to be in Argentina and Japan and all these places for a couple years. And then COVID happened a few months later. So I could have stayed in the mindset of wanting adventures and new places and all that. And guess what? I would have been really disappointed because not the year to be bouncing around the globe, right? Instead, I thought, okay, given the circumstances, how do I want to be spending my time? And I thought, you know what? This is a great opportunity to build, to make things. I love that. And for me, the building was around my business, my team, just in general, right? But around my company side of things, it's hiring great people, it's building certain programs and all these things I wanted to do, right? So I took this time and I focused on that. And that means when I was planning out my goals, it led to things that would allow me to be more focused and productive. This year, I haven't been drinking alcohol because obvious reasons, not always the best for productivity. Although when I am writing, I do find it dramatically does increase my productivity, but that's a story for another video. So I looked at what I wanted to accomplish and then thought, okay, let's build my plan around that. So I look at the environment, what's possible, then I look at what I want to accomplish, and then I work backwards and design some rules for myself or routine that will serve me based on that. And so rather than fighting against the grain, kind of swimming upstream, or rather than just trying to follow the same productivity schedule all the time, I customize it based on the goals for that month or that quarter, or in this case, those couple of years. In January this year, I readjusted what I was doing. Last year, I went through probably 4 or 5 different iterations of my schedule. I spent the summer in Hamburg, Germany, and everything was open, basically. And it was sunny, and you bike everywhere there. And I love to bike places. So I had a very different schedule. I biked into an office, a WeWork space every day. And I was like a typical German office worker. And that was my schedule during the summer. Bike in, work at WeWork all day, maybe meet a friend for a beer, go home. That worked really well. Well, now we're in Portugal. We're on a big property, and everything is closed. Like everything is closed. So obviously going out to a co-working space or working from cafes makes no sense. Working from home makes a lot of sense. And hunkering down, giving up alcohol, and just really trying to be healthy and productive makes a lot of sense because there's very little temptation when everything is closed and you're stuck at home anyhow, right? So I found adjusting these works a lot better. It's just logical and more effective. But it also is a lot more motivating because let's face it, us NFP types, we were the kid in school who was like, why, right? We need a reason why we do certain things. So following some productivity advice that says you should do this or that, when we don't really understand why we should do it and we don't really have a purpose linked to it, not very good advice, not gonna happen. So this approach allows me to attach a why. Why am I not drinking now? Well, I'm running the free Freelancer, a brand new program for the first time in 4 years, and I want it to be the greatest thing ever. So if I'm drinking, there's a risk that I'm not at my best. So giving it up, right? That was my why in January for really focusing down. And it was very clear, and it allowed me to not only design the right rules and basically schedule a ritual for myself, but also to have the motivation to do it. And on that note of motivation, something that's new and exciting tends to get done a lot more. So by changing up the focus and then the routine or rules every month or every 3 months based on what you want to accomplish, you'll have a lot more excitement with it as well. And when you're excited about something and something's new, what do? We actually do it for 1 to 3 months, which is normally a problem if you believe you're supposed to have the same schedule your entire life. But if you think, hey, that's stupid and I want to do Dan's way, then changing up your schedule every month or 3 months or 6 months, but I'd suggest 1 to 3 is probably a safer bet, actually allows you to get a lot more done and be a lot more productive and happier and live your life according to your type, which is a lot smarter way to do things. Now, I should mention, if you find this kind of advice helpful, you might want to check out my ENFP Unleashed program. There's a special 2-part training there specifically on productivity and getting things done as an ENFP, as well as 12 other trainings and the most awesome community of people on the internet. I kid you not, greatest people. It is an absolute pleasure each and every group coaching call we do, which is about every week. And in the comments below, I want to know one thing. What is your Okay, 2 things. What is your personality type, and what is the worst piece of productivity advice you've ever received? Not that sounded bad, but that when you tried to do it, it was just awful and did not work for more than a couple minutes or a couple weeks at absolute best. Let me know that in the comment. If you've taken something away from this video, please hit that like button, and I will see you in the next video soon.